And joining us now is Joe DiGenova, former U.S. attorney here in the District of Columbia. Joe, good morning.
Good morning. It's red meat time.
Yeah, it is, and I'm hoping you can bring it because I'm watching all weekend and I'm reading all of these reports about the brothers Tsarnaev, the terrorists who have been now, well, of course, one of them is dead and the other one is now arrested for the bombing in Boston. And, well, take a quick listen to this, their dear mother. Now, this is being treated like a criminal case.
I thought she said she had an Obama phone. Is that what
No, now don't you start that, Joe DiGenova. But listen, that is part of this. The fact is that they were receiving a lot of federal benefits. In fact, one can argue that they started to turn on the government as soon as the government started giving them stuff. But my bigger concern right now is the actions of a judge that just jumped up there and decided, it almost seems unilaterally, that it was time to stop the questioning of the one brother in custody and to read the Miranda rights. What do you know about this?
This is precisely the fault of the Obama administration and its Justice Department. Because he was arrested and taken into custody, within 48 hours, once he regained consciousness, he must be presented to a federal judge. And since he couldn't be presented himself, the federal judge went to him. That's the law. It's in the federal rules. If they had not arrested him and treated him like an enemy combatant, they could have questioned him for days and days and days and then arrested him later after they got what they needed. The FBI is complaining in news reports this morning that there are other people they are looking for, and they can't find them. And guess why? Because they had to stop questioning this guy because the administration decided to arrest him. There was no reason to arrest him when he was arrested. He could have been held indefinitely as an enemy combatant. He could have been questioned. They could have gotten more intelligence.
Right.
This is the President of the United States interfering with the public safety.
But I read an article by John Yoo, former Assistant U.S. Attorney General, and he talked about the separation of powers issue here, where a judge came in and read the rights and stopped the questioning, basically. Not the administration, not somebody from the Department of Justice, not somebody who's actually there to enforce the laws. It was a judge working on behalf of the judiciary to do that.
The judge who represents the third branch of government, this was a federal magistrate judge, was taken there. The assistant United States attorneys took him there because the court says it's been 48 hours. He has to be presented to a court. If you don't, he's not going to be arrested anymore. Well, of course, that they dismiss the charge when you're not presented. So, of course, the administration, who is lying again about this, the assistant U.S. attorneys in Boston said, fine, judge, let's go to the hospital. The people who made this happen were the United States Department of Justice. It's not the judge. The judge doesn't just show up on his own with a U.S. Marshal. They were taken there by the U.S. Department of Justice, and the questioning process stopped. This is all at the feet of the Justice Department and the President of the United States.
All right, I got another question here for you. I saw where Congressman Trey Gowdy was on Fox News over the weekend, and during an interview, he sort of hinted that there are some bombshell things that are about to happen with regard to Benghazi, that there are some hearings coming up. They're going to go blow the roof off the sucker. Would you, Joe DiGenova, be able to provide for our listeners any insight on this?
Brian, breaking news. Victoria Tunsing, my partner, has just been retained by one of the Department of State whistleblowers who are going to appear before the ISA committee. On April 26th, Congressman Isis sent a letter to the new Secretary of State, John Kerry, demanding that the lawyers who are going to represent these whistleblowers be cleared, be given clearances so they can talk to their clients in the committee about classified information. The Department of State is refusing to grant clearances to Victoria and other people who want to represent the whistleblowers in an attempt to prevent the testimony. There's going to be a constitutional showdown here. Congress is going to win. The administration's effort to cover up what happened at Benghazi is going to fail. It's taken a long time, but Boehner and company have finally gotten their act together and have decided that they must get the answers. But right now, the Department of State is refusing to give security clearances to people like Victoria so they can represent the whistleblowers. The whistleblowers are out there. These are great Americans. They are heroes. They were on the ground in Benghazi. They want to tell their story, and the administration is going to do everything it can to stop them from testifying under oath in public, and they want to protect Hillary and the president. That's what this is all about.
Now, your law partner, Victoria Tunsing, I happen to know, has represented people in these high-security cases before.
Yes. And she currently has a top secret security clearance.
Wow! And so
they
will not clear Victoria Tunson,
that is correct,
who has a top secret security clearance
in a case that was in existence. She got a new top secret security clearance within the last year, and now they will not clear her or any of the other lawyers to represent the Department of State people. This is so outrageous.
Hold on.
If this were a Republican president, Sander Levin and Carl Levin, his brother, would be up in arms. And look, the silence of the lambs.
Joe, name names here. You're saying it's the State Department? I mean, is this
it is the State Department, and of course the White House will say they know nothing about it. But
of course
is
they
a
will.
bald-faced lie. The State Department is refusing to clear the lawyers to represent the whistleblowers.
So they've made the case. Well, we've talked about this, and we've provided all of these.
Yeah, this is old news,
Yeah,
Joe.
What difference does it make? Remember Hillary? What difference does it make?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, you say that this is about protecting Hillary, and I fully believe that. This is about Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential run. And the Washington Post has an amazing article defending her, an opinion piece defending her, saying, Darrell Issa showed this document that had a wire, I guess, from the State Department that had her electronic signature on it, saying, ramping down the security requests at Benghazi. And they're saying, look, Hillary Clinton signed this, and now she's claiming she doesn't know anything about it. According to the Washington Post, that's no big deal, because these secretaries of state, their names go on these things without them knowing about it all the time.
The background story on that will be told to the committee. That op-ed piece is maliciously false, or it is completely uninformed, because she in fact knew. Those details I'm not at liberty to discuss now, but during the hearing, this whole thing will be blown out of the water. I mean, that performance by her in front of both committees in the House and the Senate was her grand jury appearance during Whitewater all over again. Remember when they couldn't find the billing records and they ended up in a closet in her bedroom up in the White House? This is it all over again.
All right. Well, Joe DiGenova.
Wow.
We would.
Wow.
But you know what? We need to get Victoria on the show.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be able to talk very much about it, but she would love to help you when she can.
Well, listen. Let me just say to you that please come back to us the moment there are any new developments. We will clear a slot, put you on the air.
WMAL is always first.
That's right. Well, and we appreciate it.
All right, Joe DiGenova. Thanks for joining us. Have a great